Hello, good morning everybody, it's Bruce. This is a review of this Fiat 500 rental car. I'm over here in the Gran Canaria island and we have this rental car for the week. Actually tomorrow we're returning it. So I've been driving it for about 6 days now. Well, first of all, I like how the car looks. I think the body lines are nice. It's, I think, a cool looking car. Obviously this isn't the best example with this damage here and the factory wheels, but generally I think the shape looks pretty good. Of course that's subjective. Not everybody's gonna like that. So let's take a look inside. Well, first we can take a look in the back. I like this big opening hatch, and surprisingly for such a tiny car there's some room in the back to store your things. My wife's walking sticks fit in here, fully extended. That's pretty good. We were able to put all of our luggage back here, and it still has back seats also. Now they're not that big, but for somebody who's medium to small size, you can actually fit back there. I can fit back there. If you're a big guy or girl, then probably you won't fit very comfortably. I haven't actually sat in the passenger seat. I've been driving. But I can say from the driver's point of view, everything's laid out pretty nice. I like the position of the steering wheel, the position of the shifter, the seating, the visibility is good, the gauges are fine. One thing that's a little bit unusual is the windows, power window switches are here in the middle, but once you get used to that, that's no problem also. I guess one small nitpick I would have is I don't really like I don't like buttons for my radio controls. I like the old style knobs better. Now, one thing that's not too good about this particular model, this particular one, is the engine. This is, well, at least in my opinion, but you have to keep in mind it's not a sports car. This car is not a sports car. It has a 1.2 liter gasoline engine, which produces just, I think, 60 or 70 horsepower, so it's pretty darn slow, you could say, for sure. Even with the manual transmission, it's probably one of the slowest cars I've ever driven. And I've driven a lot of slow cars, including, 1970s Dodges with slant 6 engines and 4-cylinder S10 pickups from the 90s. But I think this is even slower. This really doesn't go anywhere. But just to get you to point A to point B, it does work. And we've been going up and down these very, very steep mountains for the past week with, it's slow. It's slow. You have to slow down and go into first gear or second gear a lot of times and wind out the engine to 5,000-6,000 RPMs, but you do get there eventually. So it does work. If you're not at all interested in going fast, then this 1.2 liter engine does work. If I were to ever buy a car like this, which I don't really think I would, I like the styling, but I just can't see myself buying such a small car. If I did, though, I would definitely want a more powerful engine. I mean, I don't need the race car version, or whatever they might have, but at least something with around 100 horsepower would be a lot better, because you can really feel it on the highway. This has no power after 80 miles per hour. It takes forever to accelerate. I don't know what the top speed is, but I think the gauges say, I don't know, 220? Yeah, 220 kilometers an hour. But, oops, there's no way this car can go 220 kilometers an hour. I don't think so anyway. I will say the braking has been pretty good. We've been coming down a lot of steep roads and stuff, and the brakes have never faded, and I've felt very confident with them. Even though, if I look at them here, they're very tiny. And I think they're even, I think that's a solid rotor also in the front. Oh wow, and it actually looks like a drum in the back. I think it's a tiny drum in the back. Let's see if we can take a look underneath the car real quick. Looks like probably solid axle in the back here. The handling, I like the handling. It's a small, tiny car, so it's very, very nimble, which is coming handy on some of these tiny roads in these tiny villages here in Gran Canaria. The fuel economy. So, I don't know exactly what the, fuel economy is on it, but I do know I ran the tank almost completely empty and then filled it up, and it only took, I think, 30 liters of gasoline. And here in Gran Canaria, it's about €1 per liter, so that only costs us like 28 euros, which is incredible. I've never filled a car up for such a small amount of money, and I don't know, since like the 90s or early 2000s. So to me, it seems like the economy is pretty good. Kind of funny with the name Fiat. I have a feeling that Americans don't really like that name. Fiat. It makes you think of like the Federal Reserve, like the fiat fake money or something. And it's a European car. Other than BMW and Mercedes, Volkswagen, maybe they don't have such a great reputation. But I feel like this car is pretty tough. I mean, I don't know, but it's a rental car, so it's, all kinds of people are driving it like idiots and whatever. So Eurocar, the rental car company, seems to think it's pretty good quality, tough enough, low enough price. And my feeling is driving it, it feels pretty durable. I mean, I've driven it on some terrible roads on this vacation, some terrible dirt roads with just like gigantic potholes, and it really runs fine. Like I feel like the car is pretty solid. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I've never looked at the information, but maybe it's not such a bad, cheap car that people might have the impression that it is, just because of its history, or because of the reputation of the name or something like that. I think that if you're in the United States, maybe you should consider it. At least consider it. If I was looking for a small car like that, I mean, I'm not saying for sure I would get that car because I don't know what the price is. I don't know really anything about the other competition, but I would definitely consider that car. I put it on the list and, look at the numbers and test drive them all. It really seems like a good car to me. I would definitely consider it. Okay, hope you enjoyed this review. See you guys later.